Okay, it's Friday, September 16th. Just wanted to do a mid-morning SPY update. You can see on the daily chart so far you have a gap down and a bit of a red bar forming, moving below the open. I don't know if it's going to end the day this way, but for now, let's kind of see what's developed and how it developed. On the 15-minute chart, you can see here you had a pre-market range between these two blue lines, and the very first bar you did start down, and you could have gotten short here in an aggressive attempt for immediate follow through below the pre-market lows, kind of on the 5-minute chart at the end of the 15, as the 15-minute bar was coming to a conclusion. On the third 5-minute bar, you had the red bar down on the 5-minute, then you came up a little bit, you held there, and then you started down. So by the end of this 5-minute bar, which was close to the end of the 15-minute bar, you could have anticipated a red bar forming with some follow through lower, which developed. But then what happened was what I kind of feared might happen. If you try an aggressive trade after a big gap down, you don't get the immediate follow through. It would have been a fine trade to take, just if you want to be real aggressive, but you have to set your stop at that point in the midpoint of the first bar, which also aligns with moving back into that pre-market range. So let's say that was a very small stop. That happens sometimes when you try to get aggressive from the start, and you knew there was some exhaustion risk given a big gap down and everything else. But then you're still biased to the short side because there's nothing moving up above the pre-market highs. There's nothing above the midpoint of the prior day. So you look for that reversal signal. You get it very nicely here on the inside bar up right to the top of the pre-market range and then the shooter bar. So that's your sell signal right there. And now we move to our first target, which is the lows of the day. So at this point, that's a good trade. It took a little time to get there. You can see at this point, since you took out that target, the question is, do we then continue lower towards these lower targets, or is it, are we going to fail here again and maybe go sideways all day? And who knows, it's quad witching day, whatever they call that, and maybe we'll have a big rally by the end of the day. I can't predict it until we really get above this intraday high. I can't get comfortable on the long side. And even if it develops, then let this day turn green, and then into Monday, look for some kind of buy that could start taking out some targets up here. If the market's going to reverse big, it could easily also collapse all day long and head to our target. So if you were in here, you would be able to kind of play that at no risk in some form, either scaling out down here at your first target, or you're taking a base hit trade, or just waiting to see if we just consolidate and head lower, with a break-even kind of stop in place. So this was the trade. There were two trades here this morning, the way I see it. The aggressive one, which I thought was kind of risky, but whatever, it's a small loss, and those are perfectly acceptable at times. And then this trade here, which is much more in line with what you would want to see, is more of a high probability play to at least reach its first target, which it did. So now let's just see. I'll let it go for the rest of the day. I'll kind of come back and do a end of the day weekend recap and see what developed. But just kind of showing you the way price action kind of led to this opening red, what looks to be a red bar forming today. And again, we could, since the market's very weak and there's a lot of targets below, we might end very weak, as long as we don't really reverse too strongly out of this new low, we could be heading a lot lower. So it's going to kind of be key what develops in here, but can't predict it. So let's just watch what happens. And at the moment, we'll just see if this red bar really can start reaching some of our lower targets, or if, we're going to get some kind of reversal by the end of the day.